Welcome to the N.S.W Wildlife and Camping Show, and this is the beautiful Budderoo National Park and Minamurra Rainforest down at Carrington Falls campground, and this is Nelly's Glen, one of the most beautiful waterholes.
Another trip out, Mad Hado, back at Carrington Falls campground. Awesome. Out at Nelly's Glen, and here's the mad waterhole, Hado. Hey, me and Hado love this one. It's a ripper.
And a ripper is an absolute understatement. The beautiful cascades. And this is the track from the campground down to Nelly's Glen. So we'll take a walk down here. We might see Nelly's Glen in the background as we head a little bit further down. It's a beautiful area, this. Pristine Minamurra Rainforest. You can see the beautiful Nelly's Glen in the background there. And as we get down to the base of Nelly's Glen, it's absolutely spectacular. The falls and cascades that make their way down to this beautiful pond. Magnificent.
Welcome to the next stop. We're out at Carrington Falls. I hope you can hear us. We're having a bottler out on the N.S.W Wildlife Show. Wayne K. Keys and
Gabby Hunter.
Gabby Hunter. Cheers, guys. Let's get out on the walk and see what we can spot on today's next stop.
So after a relaxing stroll down to Nelly's Glen, we decided to go for a bit of a walk back up through the Minamurra Rainforest and Budderoo National Park in search of some birds. And I did hear some birds around here, some eastern spinebills and other bird varieties. I think I spotted gang up here in the tree. Oh, how awesome. One of our critically endangered parrots, the gang cockatoo. And this is a female gang cockatoo. And these guys are a critically endangered parrot, often found around these alpine regions, which we're down on the way to Canberra here. So we're down towards the snowy mountains, which is their preferred habitat. And you can see this one feeding there and rotating the little seed pods and flowers and buds from the eucalypts around in its claws while it chews those. There's a bunch of 4 here I can see, just in 2 pairs, because they're monogamous and they do hang out in pairs. They're beautiful animals. The male has the brightly coloured red comb, and this one's the female. She's traversing the gums, feeding on the little flowers and the seed pods and buds. They have a specialist diet, and their beak is especially designed to chew and open up these little seed pods. You can see that beautiful coloration, almost a yellow on the comb. An absolutely majestic parrot, and yeah, they're critically endangered. Very sad, because they're an iconic parrot, especially around the alpine regions of New South Wales in Australia. Seen quite often many decades ago. The numbers have declined rapidly because of habitat destruction and predation. Unfortunate, but beautiful to see. A couple of pairs up in the gum trees feeding. So me and Hado stopped here for a while, just observing these beautiful majestic parrots. And an interesting thing about the gangs is that they actually don't nest in hollows. They nest in young solid trees, and they often nest near water. The females use their strong beak, which is specially designed to excavate nesting cavities in the solid trees. They're monogamous, and the breeding season lasts from about spring to summer. They'll lay about 2 to 3 white eggs. The incubation period's about 4 weeks or so. So it's great to see these guys up here feeding. in the bonded pair, and here's the male. You can see that brightly coloured red head and comb. So great first stop, one of our critically endangered cockatoos out in New South Wales, Australia. So we might head off and leave these guys to feed in the gums on the flowers and the little nuts and the buds. We head further down the track, and there's a lot of Banksias just on the side of the track here. And I noticed a number of eastern spinebills, so might see if we can track an eastern spinebill. I think I can hear one just a little bit further up here. Yeah, definitely an eastern spinebill just up here in the distance. So hopefully we'll get some footage of him. They're a beautiful little bird. There he is. Alright, I'll get some footage. And this is the eastern spinebill. And there's another bird with a specialist beak to get into those little Banksias here. These are the local Banksia plants. And you can see his long beak, which gets right into those little polyps and gets all of the nectar out. And it can reach places that other birds can't reach with that long beak. So he loves the nectar. He's a nectar feeding bird, the eastern spinebill. And around these areas at Budderoo, definitely their preferred food source is the Banksia and the nectar. See that long tongue just poking out and sticking right down deep into the Banksia. We could hear quite a few birds around this area, so we just stayed here and had a look around in the trees. It's an eastern spinebill under attack, and the cicadas are bombing him from above. You coming back out? Ooh, ooh! Yeah, you got hit then. Next is a grey shrike thrush out hunting in the afternoon for some insects amongst the reeds and grasslands. And it's starting to get later in the afternoon, so we might head back to the campsite. So as we get back to the campsite, it's just on sunset and it's amazing. The clouds with that awesome pink hue to them. Yeah, so we're going to cook up some dinner and we might head off spotlighting and see what we can find when the sun goes down. Hopefully we might be able to spot some greater gliders. It's one of the reasons we came here. So we'll have some dinner, give you one last look at those beautiful clouds and the colours in the sky out at Budderoo, and we'll head out for a spotlight. Gee, that camping light works pretty good on the stove there, mate. That's awesome. Some mad food here. So after a brief stop having dinner, we decided to get out for a spotlight, and this is what we found. We went down on a little trail next to Carrington Falls campground. And as we venture out into the wilderness of the beautiful Budderoo National Park, the wind starts to come up from nowhere and we spot our first greater glider of the night. It's a charcoal polymorph. It's absolutely gorgeous. The Peteroides volans are the southern greater glider. They have a diet similar to the koala. And here's a few beautiful pictures of the charcoal morph greater glider down at Carrington Falls as we go on the search further for these rare endangered animals. And the greater glider lives high in the canopy and depends on forests with large old eucalyptus trees with well-formed hollows. They need at least 15 to 20 hollows per territory, and the greater gliders use these hollows for shelter and for breeding as well. And it's so windy out here. We see this beautiful white morph, grey white morph, and the wind's really started to pick up here at the moment. You can see the trees are just blowing around everywhere, and this guy is struggling to stay on this tree. And unfortunately, over the last 40 years, there's been a 90% decline in the numbers of these guys due to habitat loss and fragmentation, and inappropriate fire regimes and intense bushfires haven't helped at all either. Couple that with feral pests and the predation from our natural predators like the powerful owl, and they're in a lot of trouble. Climate change, particularly warmer temperatures, also can affect these animals. So they're so critically endangered, the numbers are not really even fully known. You can see the wind's died down a bit now, and he's just up in this beautiful gum here, be feeding up in the gum trees. And they do call these guys the clumsy possum, and there's a reason for that, as you can see. But they're a gorgeous animal and one of our most rare and endangered animals. So you can see them feeding here on the gums, and this is what they do. They're like a koala, as I said before. Their diet is pretty well exactly the same. So we might head off soon. So we just wanted to bring some awareness of this beautiful native animal that's on the brink of extinction. The numbers have just dropped by 90% in the last 40 years, and they really need our help. So stand up for these greater gliders. There's not many left around for generations to come. And look at this beautiful animal. And we really need to conserve and protect all of this habitat for these guys. They need an old growth forest, and they're prone to predation, and the bushfires have really knocked them around. Since 2019, the numbers have really dropped significantly. So help us to save the greater gliders and stand up for these beautiful animals. I mean, look at that gorgeous face. There are few more beautiful animals in the Australian bush. One of the most iconic animals that you'd ever see. Amazing. Okay, might be time to head back to the campsite, get some shut-eye, and wake up in the morning and see what else we can find in the beautiful Carrington Falls. And as the sun breaks through on the beautiful campground at Carrington Falls, we wake up and we look across the gorgeous Budderoo National Park and the campsite just down below. It's a great little spot and one of the best waterholes going to, that's for sure. So we're just about to have some breakfast, and here's Hato and the campsite in the morning. And we've got a few visitors. We've got a little scrub wren making his way around the bottom of the campsite, feeding on some of our leftover breakfast crumbs, no doubt. And another grey shrike thrush. He's come to visit us in the hope of some food as well. But we've tidied up very well, so hopefully he won't get any of our human food. The yellow robin is another one on the lookout, and he's guarding his territory near the campsite because there's food around. So we might head on down to Nellie's Glen, a morning ritual. So we head on down the track towards Nellie's Glen. Gorgeous day, absolute change and a half from last night. The wind was howling and the gazebo even got blown down. So come on, let's get for a walk and we'll meet Hato. He's already down at Nellie's Glen. And as you can see, the beautiful sunshine, blue skies, just the weather you want when you've got one of the best watering holes around New South Wales. What a place to have breakfast. Look at Nellie's Glen. And there's Hato waiting down. You can go for a bit of a wander up here and look at the rapids. How awesome. Definitely one place to look at camping if you love the outdoors. You've got a lot of seclusion here and the scenery is just drop dead gorgeous. It's stunning. So it's almost time for us to head back home from this magic little spot at Budderoo National Park, New South Wales, Australia. It's a truly magnificent spot. Best in summer, of course, when you can go and frequent the waterhole and enjoy the beauty of swimming under the waterfall of Nellie's Glen. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And if you enjoyed the show, subscribe, give us some likes and comments, and support the Cumberland Nature Crew and conservation.
Okay folks, that's all we've got time for today on this mad edition from Carrington Falls to Budderoo National Park. Just a ripper time it was. How mad was that, hey Dave?
Windy last night, Buckaroo.
Mate, nearly brought the tent down. The gazebo took flying lessons. Never seen nothing like it. It was extreme, eh? So, till tomorrow, we'll see you guys on the next stop. We got blown away by this place, literally. Thanks so much, mate.
And next stop, wildlife camping. Use EcoFlow products exclusively because they're the best products on the market that provide us with the power we need to provide the massive amount of footage to make this show and to run all of the lights and everything else, plus the campsite. So EcoFlow, truly remarkable, and the durability, unbelievable. Over 119 trips, they've just gone strong. And here's the River Plus and the Rapid Magnetic, absolutely magic.